Hi, everybody. I'm in my dining room right now. Probably. Hi. Hi. In my dining room right now. Maybe I should close this. Maybe that helps out. Um, I did post a video that I made a day or so ago this morning. You may or may not had a chance to see it. Um, I opened up the big pasture so the animals can intermingle. I've done it a million times before. Um, then everything was good. I kept going out, checking, on Ducky because Ducky was in the new area outside all day enjoying the sun. And I came inside, and the dogs started going absolutely crazy. And I went outside and looked over, and all the goats were behind the house like old times. I'm hearing this screaming. Now, mind you, I have no shoes on, okay? And I looked over and I saw Clyde and Spot had Barney. They were dragging him. He wasn't moving. He was just screaming. They were dragging him. They were on top of him. They were biting him. I ran through one pasture to the next pasture. I picked up a stick on the way. I was smacking them, yelling at them. And then he wasn't making any noise at that point. He just didn't. He wasn't. He was just laying there limp. They're still on top of him. I'm hitting him as hard as I can until Clyde took a look at me, and it's like his facial expression changed and he took off, and then Spot took off. Here was my precious Barney, who's done nothing to no one, who loves everybody. He's the best representative of a loving goat when people come to visit. Barney is who I bring out. He is also my oldest goat, and I love him dearly. He wouldn't get up. He was just laying there. I start bawling. So I pick him up. Okay. I pick him up. I carry him into the other pasture. I still hear screaming. There was one of the mini goats that don't get very big, males, that was screaming hidden in a corner. So I went and I got him. I put him in. Clyde and Spot is still off in that big pasture where the goats are usually at, doing their thing. Okay. I pulled the gate shut. I tied it. I made sure he couldn't get back into that pasture where they all used to live together. They've intermingled. I open that pasture gate and I let the goats come over, eat down, they go back. I do it all the time. This was totally new to me. I didn't understand why it was happening. I'm confused. I've heard that animals who never intermingle, you shouldn't do that. But they grew up together. They were always in the same pasture. I just removed them when the girls go into heat because Clyde and them get a little rough and a little too friendly. So uh, this was really, I don't know. I went out this morning thinking, okay, Barney's passed. Because I was with him up until 1 o'clock in the morning. He was finally just starting to stand and just had this pitiful head down looking thing. And I didn't want to leave him. And I didn't trust those pigs trying to find a way back in because Clyde knows how to go under, lift and go under and out through the fence. Well, I had a couple of cattle panels that I put up. So if he goes around that, he doesn't attempt to lift the fence, that assisting fence that will now be extremely enforced. Um, that's Dobby, everybody, my pug. So, so on this, so I went out thinking the worst this morning, and I went out there and I sat down. And I'm looking. I don't see him. I don't see him. I said, "Oh my God!" And next thing I know, I said, now I need to say goodbye to Barney. And then all of a sudden, his head perked out of the tall grass, and he comes over, hopping over like nothing ever happened. And he was traumatized. Yes, he was traumatized. And here he is licking on me, kissing me, trying to get in my lap. And I'm like, oh my God, he's okay. And I checked all the goats, and then I was just crying because he's okay. I put the word out on every farm page. We have 2 pigs that need to go immediate free. I haven't gotten any response at all to anybody. I'm not a butchering person. We did the cows, and I said never again. And they were my sister's cows, and she gave me some of the meat just because I fed them and raised them. But there's a texture in my meat that I like, and we don't really have a butcher that caters to special cuts. But anyway, back on the hand. So here I am putting Ducky back in Ducky's new pen during the day and taking him back at night. And I'm can't believe what I've seen because, goats get shocked and torment. He was laying still. They were yanking. One was yanking from one end. The other one was grabbing him by his neck and yanking the other way. I really thought I was going to lose my goats. My little goat, he's not really little, and then I didn't realize there was a baby still in there. But like I said, he is fine. He is very tiny. He will not get very big. Him and his sister are dwarfs. And one of my goats carry that gene. And yeah, so I believe that is the mama that carries it because she's had one. We all know her. But anyway, he's fine. I went in there, I cleaned up, I love pallets because I take them apart and put them back together all the time. I use them for whatever I need them for. They're great. Once they get a certain age, you got to replace them or tear them up and make small burn piles out of them. But I do need to get more. I made one hut. I made a second hut. Well, I'll have to get a tarp later and a small tarp and put over it. So they have a place to go if it rains. I put the sunshade this morning over that big metal container, the frame that I use for multi-use. And the cover that did come for it was too small. So I sent it back. That took some time. So they have a way to get out of the sun. They have a way to get out of weather. They have plenty of water. I went and gave them all antibiotics, probiotics, and a cup mixed with grain when they really aren't supposed to get grain today. But that's okay because they needed it. They're eating the grass just fine. They're eating all the brush that grew up around the fence. I keep going out there constantly, making sure Clyde and Spot has not found a way back into that pasture. There was a weak spot up here that they could get in the backyard. I took 2 cattle panels and leaned it up against the existing wire fence and attached it temporarily. If it doesn't bend, he doesn't work very hard. But now that he's 3 times bigger, let's hope that he's not going to try it. He never tried it here, and that's all cattle panels behind us. I have a white fence up against the inside. It's electric fence. He's terrified of it. He will not try to pass it or go underneath of it. So right now, all my goats are happy. They're playing. They're having a good time. They're buying the house. So I honestly don't know. That was so unexpected. I should have known better, I guess. But you know what? I've had pigs. I know pigs that aren't raised in a spot with them. They don't adapt well if you intermix them. But like them, they're always with them. And separating them during birthing process is something I did, so no harm, even though Clyde's a great uncle to all the babies. Now, this, like I said, he go one after the only one that did not have horns to protect himself. That is a big deal because this is why I do not dehorn my goats. You just never know. That is their source of protection. Okay. Yeah, the hoofs hurt, but this is a major source of protection. So live is not something I do. I want to start doing it. I want to get to know the people that have joined my page. And thank you all again for liking and joining and wanting more content. I'm getting that for you. I don't like, here's feeding. here's feeding. But when I do something new or do something out of the ordinary, I'll show you what I do to save money, or like my projects. Now, of all things, my sewing machine has broke, but I ordered some really cool buttons to put on my purses, which I like to do. And I guess I'm going to work on stages that I can actually work on without needing the sewing machine. But I'm going to have to, I don't buy things like that offline. I am going to go into the store and buy me a really, really cheap one so I can get these projects done. Uh, I really hate to do that, but I've had it for 7 years. This one is 50 years old behind me. It's in this case. It's been a year since I've used it. It needs to be oiled. It needs to be serviced. It was my mother-in-law's. And my husband of 63 said she's had that before he was born. So I'm, pleased to have it if I need it. Okay. So I was reading something that popped up there. Sorry. So, I'm going to do an update live later this evening about 6 o'clock. And I hope you all join me for that live. If not, that's okay too. I don't know what to say. Is just I'm keeping a real close eye on Barney. I actually gave Ankles a bell, and I put a bell on Barney, which I think I took his off at one time and I gave him a bath because he had to. That was disgusting. So I'm going to have to get some more goat bells. Those are the ones I can tell you that aren't for sale. They have bells on. And that's when I do put them up. People come because, well, which one's for sale? The ones aren't wearing a bell. It's so much easier to do it that way. And I was getting ready for that. And that's why I was bringing them over, let them eat this grass and get some really good pictures of them. And yeah, it's a mistake I will not make again. And my guard is up until we find a place for the two pigs to go. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. And if you do, check out the next one, please. All right. Wish me luck. Ta-ta for now.